Hey everyone, it's Slack Mac Mox here, coming at you live, broadcasting through the, you know what I mean, who cares. So, here's what's going on. I ordered all these Knights Kingdom guys because I needed them for parts for Fodum, and also for Tohokoto, who's going to have a project that a lot of these parts will be useful for. So most of these are going to Tohokoto, and then some of them are going to be scrapped and cut and glued and spray painted. But the thing was, I got, like, most of these for 30 bucks. Like, I got most of all these guys just for 30 bucks for everything, with the canisters and all that. And I had all these guys, and I was looking at them, and I was like, these guys are pretty cool, you know? And it would kind of stink when I've got such a large amount of them not to do some sort of video about it, just looking at them, because not very many people have, you know? There aren't very many really high quality reviews, if any reviews, for these guys. And so I thought, you know, while I've got them, I might as well take advantage of that and just look at them before I destroy them and they turn into freaking Richter brains or whatever. So that's what I'm doing. And so this is not in any way meant to be a set number, price number, 100% complete, a fully length, in-depth review of the entirety. No, I don't even have anywhere close to all the sets here. I've got maybe a little bit more than a third of all the sets they released for Knights Kingdom, and I'm missing the instructions, and some of them are missing, a lot of them are missing parts, and this is not comprehensive. This is just me looking at them because I had the time. So that's why this isn't called like Knights Kingdom in-depth review. It's called like Thatchmac talks about Knights Kingdom or something like that, because I had the guys and I figured, why not look at them, because not many people actually know a lot about, especially these later year guys, which are some of the best ones. So yeah, that's what this video is going to be. I'm going to look through each of the guys, or maybe some of them as groups, you know, kind of together, maybe some individually. I'm going to look at the kind of cool canisters they got and talk about that a little bit and the cool parts, and then I'm probably going to end it with an overall opinion about what I got here. And yeah, so that's what's going down. Alright, so here we've got the three boys that I have from year one of Knights Kingdom, and I'm sure these are the ones that most of you are going to be familiar with. I think these were the most popular, and I think they sold the best. Not based on any financial numbers, but just because when I was a kid and I went to the thrift store, these were the ones I would always find at the thrift store. Like in 2011, it was always these original ones, which tells me some parents bought them for their kids, and the kids gave up on them, but I never saw any of the other ones, so you know, odds are that these ones were the ones that sold the best. And I think that's also, these are the ones you see the most, too. So I'm going to talk about these guys a little bit. So, I mean, as you can kind of see, like, these are the ones that are missing the most parts, probably because they're the oldest, and they've also got some of the most, like, parts on their body. You know, when they were doing these ones, they clearly wanted to make them more Lego-esque than some of the later ones, which are more action figure-esque. Hold on, I'm trying to focus on Jaco here. Camera, focus on freaking Jaco. What the frick? Jaco, focus on him. What the? All right, you know what? Autofocus is gonna frig out, and I'm gonna adjust the focus myself. So these guys, I think, were probably the ones that sold the best, like I said. But I mean, these are the closest to normal Lego. You know, they had these bodies with these, you know, horrible chest cavities that look like in a cartoon, you know, when they get run over and there's like a road mark on them. That's kind of what they look like. And I think that's because there was obviously the system theme going with this. These were not the only Knights Kingdom sets. They had all those awesome system-like castles and everything. I'm sure you've seen those minifigures around. They're some of the best Knight minifigures ever. But they clearly, I think, wanted, you know, before Bionicle, they wanted to make these closer to system, and you can kind of see that. I think the issue that causes, though, is it makes their proportions look a bit more wonky. When you've got these giant, like, brick sections, they don't look as natural as some of the later Knights Kingdom sets, you know? And they tried to add, this guy put these on upside down, whoever I bought this from. They tried to add these to make them a little bit more rounded, but it didn't really work. And these guys are obviously the most awkward looking. Now, they're the most colorful, which is cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go over kind of the thing they had with this. So they had like the slashing, hold on, this guy's actually got a sword, so we're gonna talk about the guy who actually has a sword. Hold on. See, this is another problem you'll see with all of them. They can't stand very well because their foot articulation is limited to just this and this, which seems like enough, but there's a critical joint missing that if you're a Marvel Legends fan, you've probably heard of, and it's called the ankle pivot. Now, it's the joint that basically allows the foot to pivot in and out like that. And all Bionicles have it because they use ball joints, so you can just kind of, but when the figures don't have this and their foot are stuck in this orientation, it makes them very hard to get to stand. You can stand them in the normal kind of way like this, but that looks really weird, and if you want to get them in a cooler pose, it's going to take a lot of finicking, and they don't want to stand up, which is a problem with all of the Knights Kingdom guys. They don't like to stand because they don't have any ankle pivot. But let's talk about that feature here. So, I don't know, I know Jaco and I know Vladek. I don't know this guy's name. I'm just going to call him Redman for now. So, Redman is, he's cool looking, but I don't know, he was always one of the less interesting ones. Like, look at his mask. He looks like a thumb. So, he was not as cool as Jaco or as Vladek. Yeah, but they had the Mata, like, hack slashing slasher effect here, where you could attack. And then they had these, which have those paper shields that I'm sure you've seen. I have them, I don't have them on me. But they're those little paper, they're not paper, they're like a very thin, like, plasticky kind of material. But they would stick on by just I think it was a dish piece and then the thing, and they would always fall off, and they were small, and they sucked. Those shields suck. They are the worst, and they clearly learned their lesson in some of the later ones. But yeah, you'd have the game. I think they had cards because some of these boxes say includes game cards. So I think there was like this whole in-depth game. But you'd attack the guy and you'd probably knock down his shield in 3 seconds because the thing is super flimsy, and then, I don't know, you'd win or something. But yeah, you've probably also already noticed that this thing, whoever I bought this from, clearly waged many a war because the hilt is all twisted, so he holds it a little off. I don't think Redman's going to be doing much in terms of defensive because he can't orient his blade correctly. But yeah, speaking of those blades, this is, like, I just have this one on me right now for these guys, even though I think they carry the same sword into the next Year 2 iteration, which I'll look at after this. These swords were cool. They were small, but they were really cool because they're not like Bionicle swords, where Bionicle swords have all these pistons on them. These are just swords, like classic knight fantasy swords, which leads to some really cool designs. And if they were bigger, I'm sure they'd be a lot more popular on Bionicle mocks. But because they're so small, they always look like knives on Bionicle people. So yeah. Oh, okay, I'm going to talk about their faces. They also printed the faces on, and I think these faces look similar to the minifig faces, but not exact. I think these are kind of like a little different, but they're obviously meant to look like them. The faces look okay. Some people like hate them. I think they're okay. I think it's cool to have the feature of like being able to slide up and down. It's very different than Bionicle, but it allows you some more personality, when you can see the eyes and kind of their expression, which is pretty cool. These guys have got a lot of personality because of that. I also like that they're yellow, just like the minifigures. They're not skin colored, they're yellow, which is kind of funny. I like that a lot. So that's, SSR Redman's face. Vladek's face is really funny. He kind of looks like, I don't know, he kind of looks like a Ninjago villain or something like that. But he's pretty cool. I mean, he's obviously got a frown, and he's got pure red eyes, so he probably has some pink eye or something going on. You should get that looked at. But it's cool. Like I said, a lot of personality there, and it's also cool how it matches up. All of them match up with the mask in cool ways, and you'll see some other later versions how they would mess around with that, which was always neat. And then Jaco's face is probably the best one. I mean, he's obviously like young, handsome, youthful protagonist face, but it's cool. I'm going to look at this later when we get to King Jaco, because he becomes the king, and compare it because they actually did keep the design but just aged him up, which was really cool. And we'll get into that. But either way, I've spent 6 minutes talking about 3 boys, and I'm a little nervous that I'm going to spend 48 hours talking about the other ones, so we're going to move on to the other guys now. Okay, so here we have the Year 2 guys that I have, and I have the least amount of these guys. I've got the most Year 3 ones, and I'll get into that, but the least amount of Year 2 ones, but they're all complete. These guys are 100% complete aside from the box and instructions, but I do have a box, which I'll look at in a second. So here we got these 2 guys, and there was a King Matthias in the last wave. I don't have him, and I think he's kind of rare. Maybe not. I don't know. The prices on these guys, you can find them on Bricklink for $6, and then on eBay for $30. So they're kind of wonky, it's not like Bionicle where there's like usually a uniform price for like how much something will cost. These guys kind of vary, you just got to get lucky. Yeah, so we'll talk about these guys. So first, I'm going to look at the King guy, King Matthias. who, like I said, did have a first year iteration. I just don't have it. So he's cool. He's really cool. I mean, he's kind of dorky, especially compared to King Jaco, which I'll compare. I'm going to compare everything you want me to compare. It'll all be compared. So he's kind of dorky, you know. He's kind of got like a weird build. I think this cape, they fixed this. The cape is really cool. It's really big. It's probably it's like the biggest cape they made. And it would look great on a Bionicle mock. The thing is, though, they tried to do the whole... I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to. They did the whole 2-layer thing, which creates a whole problem because... that works on a Bionicle because the necks are a little bit longer and skinnier on Bionicles because of the ball joint. But because the Knights Kingdom guys have got more squat necks, it kind of gives them this weird, awkward, like, you know, when they have like in a cartoon, someone has like a neck cast on or something like that, like, you know what I mean? Like the guy from Incredibles who tried to kill himself. I'm sorry, I'm making a bunch of obscure references. That's kind of what this looks like. Like he broke his neck and he's like, I can't, like Batman from 1989. So that kind of creates a problem. His proportions are a little wonky. And the colors are pretty cool. Like they look cool, but there's some balancing. I think that there's like, this chest has just got too much gold and blue on it, and it's not, well, I know they got the white, which is, you know, but still on the front, you would, you know, it's a lot of that. But they did introduce some new stuff here. So they finally gave them real shields. They didn't give them the stupid paper shields that fell off all the time. They gave them legit shields. And all of the shields are pretty fantastic. I don't have all of them, but I'll show you all the ones that I have, and they're all pretty great. Now, they're kind of small on a Bionicle, but if you've got someone like a Tahu Master or something like that, it could probably, I mean, some of the bigger ones could probably look pretty fine on someone of that height, you know, like a Tahu Master, something like, certainly like a Pohatu Master, something like that could work. Now, I understand that the Bionicle community has this weird Invader Zim thing where the tallest is instantly the coolest, so we gotta make our guys super tall, because that means they're super cool. But, Knights Kingdom does not operate under the Invader Zim philosophy like that. So, I think that there's some cool stuff you could do with this, and certainly it could look good on, like, Hero Factory mocks or something. That would be a perfect height. But yeah, these shields are all really cool, not just because they're molded really cool, but they're also painted really well. Like this blue is painted and the silver is painted on, and it does it's really smart to have the gold be the molded. It just looks really cool. And they also gave them slightly bigger weapons. You know, I'm sure you've seen this before. Yeah, now this guy's face, I'm gonna look at real quick. He looks okay, but he's kind of like, I don't know. He still looks like he's got like some sort of stick up his butt or something like that. Very rigid and stuff. Also, his eyes are gray, which is really weird and sad. But yeah, they also introduced the crown piece, which is a really cool piece, and it just clicks on, and you can kind of rotate it up and down if you want. I recommend you put it up, because right there he looks like, you know, he's you know what I mean, like you just ate his, you know, last Oreo cookie or something like that. But I would keep it up. So yeah, he's alright, but he's got a lot of cool parts, and especially this cape, I'm sure, is really big. I mean, it's really big for a Knights Kingdom guy. I'm sure that could look good on a Bionicle mock or something like that, and I think the capes from Knights Kingdom are pretty expensive on Bricklink. At least some of them. I'm sorry, so now we got Jaco. I can't spend forever on all these guys. I gotta pump through this quicker. We got Jaco, and he's basically the exact same body as this guy, except for the different molded torso, but everything else is like the same. And he's really cool. I actually really like what they did with these Year 2 Knights. You know, the whole idea, it's the Nuva thing, where when the cool guys, now they got cool silver armor and cool shoulder pads and everything like that. Kind of like that, but it looks cool for Jaco. They gave them this really sweet painting on their helmets here, which looks awesome. That is really cool. I love that so much. Also, the head is on a dark blue head now instead of the, what was it? It was on gray before. So he's got the sword, which Year 1 Jaco had, the sword. And it's the same sword. It's kind of small. It looks cool, but it does, like I said, it's cool to get these swords that do not have any pistons on them or anything, because they don't need to be. They just are like knight swords. It's a really cool, different style, and I really appreciate that. He's also got a shield, which looks freaking baller. I love this shield. Pay attention to it, because we're going to look at it again later. I believe this logo right here, it was on his shield, and now, like his old paper shield, and now they brought it in, they put it on this shield and on his body, and they did that with all of the Year 2 Knights, which is really cool. They carry on that theme, their logos and everything like that. But yeah, he's really cool. I think he's a definite improvement from the first Jaco. because he's just got, they filled out the proportions more, just like they did with the Toa Nuva. They filled out the proportions more, and like the mask is so cool. The colors I think are a little bit more dispersed better. I think the only complaint is this should have either been molded in the same gold as this, or this gold should have been painted the same color as this, but that's not a big deal. Yeah, they also introduced in this year the double like alternating hack and slash Mac and Clash and Thatch Mac feature, which they never did on Bionicle, which is kind of interesting, but they did it here. The separate things, which I think is cool for a Knight type thing, because now you can be like, I mean, I'm older, I'm a 17-year-old kid, so my thumbs are not the right size, they're a little too big for this, but you can really get into more like, if you're fighting your friends or whatever, you can kind of, I'm gonna block you and then I'm gonna attack, you know what I mean, which is kind of cool. I feel like that would be a lot more fun for kids, the double arm, and I thought that was a smart move. I guess I should say that they're loose so you can't pose them, but you kind of can, because it stops at some point, so you can always just kind of move it back and then it'll stop there. You just can't do it backwards. Which is fine, but you could probably get around that in some creative ways, I'm sure, like, you know what I mean? Just, the gear function is not a problem here because it's got the stopper on it. Bionicle never had, like, a stopper like that, yeah. But yeah, so that's these two guys. Oh shoot, I gotta look at the canister real quick. Gotta make this quick so this video is not 35 minutes long. So here's the canister. I believe it's the same type of canister, the same shape that those year one guys came in. And it's pretty cool. It's plastic. I like the theme, the knightly theme. Again, it's really cool to see something not robotically themed whatsoever. The art on the front is really cool. He's got a logo right here, King Matthias, and that's always really awesome. You'll see on all of these things that the art on the front is always really stellar. Whoever did a really good job. And it's cool to see the brick theming. You got like a knight shield here. This whole thing kind of looks like a miniature castle. And that's really cool to have that, like here, look. That's really neat to have that all the way through. Obviously on the back, the functions, and it shows the other boys. These guys are all really cool. The only two I really want to get, though, are... Actually, I want to get all these, except for the red one. He looks okay. But these two guys look really... Oh, no, they had new swords. I just realized that. Look, that's a different Jaco sword. So whoever gave this to me gave me the first year Jaco sword and put it on the second year Jaco when it's supposed to be on... Okay, so different swords. So they did have new swords. The new swords look awesome, by the way. That thing right there, look, I think I actually have that. It's really cool. Yeah, then you also got all these guys. Sir Santis. Are you serious? They named the red guy Santis like Santa Claus? That's ridiculous. Anyway, but they all got these really awesome shields and everything like that, and you can just see how awesome Vladik looks. That is a huge step forward for Vladik. So, yeah, really cool. At the top it says Lego, and you've got the brick theme more. In the inside, there isn't much. It says 2004 Lego. Yeah, pretty cool. Obviously, you got his logo here. Yeah, it's a very cool, nice little canister. I like them quite a bit, but they have got nothing on the canisters that came after. Okay, this is where things get crazy and really cool. So, these are the year 3 guys, and these guys are easily the coolest ones they did. All of these guys are pretty freaking awesome. They sort of forewent the whole Lego aspect and were just like, let's just make cool action figures, And they really nailed that aspect of these. And there are still a lot of really cool parts for mocking. They're just larger, but there are a ton of really cool parts here. So I'm going to get into that, and I'm going to start with that boy Jaco, because man, this is one of the coolest things that they did with the whole freaking theme, in my opinion. So Jaco, our young, youthful, boyish protagonist, is now the king. Right? What happened to Matthias? I don't know. He probably died of heart disease or something like that. Maybe Jaco's the villain and he assassinated him. I do not know what happened to the last. Maybe he sacrificed himself for the greater good. Don't know. Jaco's the king now. Not only that, but Jaco's an old man. Like, old man Logan, get out of here. Old man Jaco is where it's at. So, we'll get into that later, but that whole concept of that old protagonist now being the king was really cool. Not only that, but this guy is easily way better than the other king. They've pretty much fixed all the problems. His proportions are much better with these new armor pieces they added. The cape only has one hole at the top, so he doesn't look like he broke his neck in the 3rd grade. And the color scheme is much better balanced. So he's gold, white, and silver, and that all goes together really well. The only real breakup is this dark blue, but that's also on the head and on the cape. So it totally balances out really well. And now you'll notice this is the same. I'll compare the Jaycos. You know what? I'll just compare them right now. I'll get that out of the way. We'll just compare all the Jaycos. Yeah. Sorry, Kentis and not Santis. Maybe his name is, I don't know, Santioso. I don't know, he's got a name. I don't care enough, though. Okay. I mean, they're all cool. Sorry. You'll see, I've grown to love this theme. So we got those two, and then we got this little young man. So our young friend, our young, youthful, you know, King Arthur, guy has now become king. And you can see his evolution here, and it's pretty sweet. So there's obviously a transition going on, but you can see he's got the same shield he had before. He's still got his logo on his chest, stained chest. And he's still kind of got, the similar armor placement that just kind of goes with him being a Knights Kingdom guy. He's got a new sword now, but this new sword is awesome sauce. Let's just talk about this sword for a hot minute here. This is probably one of the coolest Knights Kingdom swords there is. This thing looks awesome, very Excalibur-esque, and this thing is cool as beans. So, yeah. And now let's talk about the head. And I could compare these two's head, but I'm not going to. I'm going to compare... Also, look, the gold that was once in his arms is now a main part of his color scheme, so that's kind of cool. Did they all have gold? No, they did not. Maybe that was foreshadowing, this little gold, that he would once be the kid who would be king. Let's talk about these heads, because no one talks about this about Knights Kingdom, but our friend here, it is the same head. If you look very closely, it's the same basic head shape. So he's got the hair at the top, his classic scraggly hair. His eyebrows are the same. His eyes are identical between the two. You can't see it too here because it's darker, but the eyes are identical. The nose is the same nose. The mouth same. He's even got the same cheekbones, which aren't on this version, but I think he's got cheekbones. Yeah. So, oh wow. So actually they changed the head a little bit. I didn't even realize that. So the head kind of changed from here to here, just a little bit. They made him a little bit more. They gave him the cheekbones and they made his eyebrows bushier. But either way, it's still Jayco. He's got the same expression, same eyes. They just gave him the gray hair, which is really cool. To see that, Bionicle, whenever they did a newer version, until G2, whenever they did a new version of the character, usually they lost many of their defining attributes. So it's very cool to see a theme where LEGO consciously was like, yep, this is the same guy. He's going to age a little bit, but he looks the same because he's the same person. So that was really cool. And I think that's what makes King Jayco one of the coolest sets they did. His color scheme is on point. There's like that cool attachment because he was before, and he's awesome. So yeah, we're gonna get him out of the way now. I'm gonna talk about the villains, then I'm gonna talk about the good boys because the good boys are really cool. First we got Karzan, which HL, anyone? Please, someone know him from HL. That would be awesome. If you don't know HL, go watch HL by Tokiro no Koto. Karzan's really cool. Now I don't have a shield. Why does he have this? I don't know. Your answer is as good as mine. I got him and they gave him this weapon for some reason. So thanks, I guess. But I guess he's dual wielding now. Oh, also, King Jayco has got the double gear thing. This guy's only got one though. He can't do much. They also, at some point, they did gears with their shoulder moved, which was weird. And I don't know how effective that is in battle. But yeah, they had one where it had that butterfly thing. Anyway, I don't have any of those. So Karzan's really cool. His color scheme is also balanced pretty well. They've got this new torso that they introduced for the bad guys, as well as the new spiky shoulder armor and the spiky things. And overall, he just looks really cool. His color scheme's really neat, and there is some separation going on, but he's cool. And his weapon is really fun with the play feature, and I really like they did this textured armor look. They kind of gave it like that, with all the dots and everything, which is really cool. And this guy has got a face, as all men do, and his face is crazy. Now this is what I'm talking about, the personality, right? You can really get a feel for his personality with this. He's obviously the edgy, cool, evil man, but it looks really cool. And he's got this white eye, which was a genius move because when you pull it down, that's terrifying. He's got red eyes because he's evil, and all evil people have red eyes. Yeah, so he's pretty cool. Karzan's pretty dope. I wish I had his his shield, but you can see the shield here. It's a snake, and that is freaking awesome. It looks awesome, and so I'll get into the canisters. I'm gonna look at. I guess I'll just quickly run through his, but I'm gonna take a more in-depth look later. But yeah, so you've got. You know what? I'll do the in-depth look now, and then I'll run through the other ones quickly. That seems to make a little bit more logical sense. I'm sorry I haven't had coffee yet today. Yeah. So that, again, they each got their own little logos, which is pretty cool. And look at this freaking art. I mean, you can't see it too well, but he's got like thunder and stuff. Like that's awesome, man. That is super cool. As well as this is different from the first few years canisters. This is metal. Like, look. That's metal, man. This ain't no Hero Factory bag scenario. This is metal, you know? And they pretty much improved it. Like, look at that. That is so cool. They've each got one of these at the top, and that is the coolest thing ever. Like, he's got his own coffee table. So, that's really awesome. I mean, it's like I said, it's all shiny and metallic. You've got all the Mahoys and Minoys. The only one I don't have from this year is Vladik, but Toakira no Koto does have Vladik. And hey, buddy. Okoto, if you really want to make my thing complete here, you should review your Vladik because you have him 100% complete, including the box. So you should do that. Anyway, so yeah, we can have a complete comprehensive year 3 review between me and Toakoto. Anyway, so yeah, here we got, it's really cool. Knight's Kingdom, very cool. I love this. I mean, you've got like, it's a really cool, it's all, you know what I mean? It's just, it's an awesome canister. It's cooler than a lot of the Bionicle canisters, in my opinion. It just looks... And it, like I said, it's metal, which really caught me off guard when I first got it. Here we got Drakus, who I swear the first time I've read this guy's name is right there. I seriously, 3 seconds ago, just figured out his name. Drakus is pretty fantastic as well. His color scheme is, I think, what really gives him everything. His color scheme is pretty excellent. Like, it's really well balanced. The yellow and the black and the gunmetal, like, it just looks really sharp. And his shield might be the coolest shield that they did. The shape is really cool. They colored it again. It's got wood texturing here. So it's silver, but they painted this on, and that was a very smart choice. As well as, it's the biggest one that I have, and I think it's the biggest one that they did. This shield is huge, and it's really cool, and I'm sad I've never seen it used in a Bionicle mock before, because it's awesome. I'm going to use it as soon as I can, because it is super cool. He's just got this, the King Sword that, maybe this guy's the one who killed Matthias and took his sword, and now he stands, and he must be avenged by Jaco. I don't know. Yeah, but very nice color scheme on this guy. Really cool. This guy means business, man. As well as his helmet, which is much more Spartan-like than Knight-like, which was a cool choice to make. I like most of the helmets from Knight's Kingdom, especially the 3rd year. The helmets got really cool. But it's especially cool on this guy. I just like the T thing there. There's his face. You know, he's kind of got like a face. He's got really big bushy eyebrows. This guy is a scum. And like I said, that personality can be conveyed. Also, that is a lighter yellow than the Keat orange here. So just going to keep that on there. I'm just going to point that out. But it looks really cool. The only problem with some of these helmets is they're kind of flat on the back. You know what I mean? But I know that they wanted you to allow them to do this, so that makes sense. It's just sometimes, like in the first year, I think they kind of did a better job of making it look less flat with the shaping of it, especially on Thimble here, where it looks really natural. It doesn't look too small, but in this it's obviously a big cutoff. Not a big deal though, because I do still love the helmet, and obviously I love this texture they did on it. This 3rd year was a lot darker than the other years, I think, in terms of the aesthetic, which I think really helped it out. Still got the new villain torso, but overall, really cool guy. He's got the one arm, you know, he can... You know, he can be like, I don't know. But yeah, very cool guy. Really, really, really good set here. I think this guy's pretty sweet. So yeah, here's his box quickly. Drakus, obviously, you know, the cool artwork here. Nice Kingdom on the back. You know, that's what his symbol looks like. It looks awesome. It's like a bat mixed with a dragon, which is cool. So very cool. I really like your boy Drakus. Now let's get on to the good boys. I'm going to save my favorite for last, which means that we're going to look at this guy first. So this guy is also pretty stellar, I think, in terms of a Knight's Kingdom figure. When I say really great, I mean in terms of Knight's Kingdom. You know, I'm not saying like, this is one of the best Lego sets ever made. Not one of the best buildable figures. Nope, I'm speaking in context of Knight's Kingdom. But in that context, this guy is really, really awesome. So yeah, he's got a shield, which looks super cool. It's really big, like I said before. It's one of the bigger ones, and it looks cool. He's got his logo there, the bowl. Really, really sweet. The colors on him are balanced. I think that's the thing that strikes me about this third year the most, aside from the big armor and the more texture. The color balancing is much better than those first few years. They really got a better understanding of how to place the colors and make it look good. Like, you'd think this white would throw it off, but it doesn't. It really helps break up and balance the color scheme so he doesn't look like a Power Ranger. Not anything against Power Rangers. Power Rangers are awesome, but Knights are not Power Rangers. Great, someone's going to point out that at some point in Power Rangers they did a Knight theme, and they're going to yell at me, but anyway. So yeah, this guy's really cool. He's got this awesome battle axe, which works really well with Bionicle mocks. Like I said, the awesome shield, the colors are really cool. His helmet is pretty dope. It's really big, but it's really cool. And it's really nicely shaped. And then if you do this, there's his face. He's just kind of, he's got to go to, he kind of looks like Tony Stark, I'm not going to lie. But that's cool, because Tony Stark's pretty cool. So yeah, this guy's really nice. He's a really, really good knight. I think he stands tall as one of the better knights that they did, and really good figure overall. So yeah, I don't have his box. Also, he's got the two, he can have a kitty fight with somebody. Alrighty, now on to my favorite one out of all of them, out of all of the knights, excluding, the kings and such, and any Jacos. This guy, Sir Kentis. You probably saw this guy. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this guy already. Sir Kentis is my long-lost love. So, I love pretty much everything about this guy. First off, he's green. And obviously I love the color green, so instantly, I love him. His shield is really, really cool. Look at that. That just looks sharp, That's awesome. It's gold. So yeah, they did it's just really cool the way they did that. Shield's really cool. I love the shield. He's got this, which is probably the worst part, is he's just got like a thingy. I wish he kind of had a sword. But that's okay. Not a big deal. I know they wanted to give them diverse weapons. Like I said, the colors are really well balanced on him as well. The armor looks really cool on him. It's a different shade down here than up here, but because they've got the three matching up here, I don't think that's really a problem. But his helmet is so cool, man. I love this helmet so much. I like knight helmets that look like this, so this was just awesome when I saw it. I love the helmet to death. I think it's really, really well designed. It's a really cool piece. I think it's so cool. It's the most knightly helmet they did, like classical knight, and I love that to death. I think it looks super cool. His face is right here. He kind of looks like a crab pants, I'm not gonna lie. Somebody ate his Oreo for sure. But, you gotta do, when you're a knight, you gotta be determined. Biggest problem is that his helmet can go down and cover his eyes, but if you just rise it, you should be fine. Also, I like about the helmet, not only does it look really cool, but it's a little bit more broken up, so it doesn't look so flat and awkward like some of the other ones do. So that's pretty cool. And, yeah, overall, he's also, I forgot to mention, the good guy knights for this year 3 have got this weird chainmail thing on them, but I think that's kind of a cool idea. So, yeah, that's Sir Kentis. He is awesome, and I really like him. He's one of my favorites. So, yeah. I probably won't give this guy to Tokoto. Sorry, Tokoto. Here's his box, or his canister. Real canister, like I said, metal. He's got his awesome, unicorn symbol here. Unicorns are freaking awesome, by the way. And they've got this chainmail thing running all the way through, which is really awesome. And like I said, the art here is really cool. He's got, this golden, look behind him. Really cool. Look at that. Look at that. It's so cool, man. Yeah, so Kentis is a boy. Now I'm going to go and do a bit of a retrospective because I've recorded this really long video, and if you made it this far through, congratulations. Okay, so Jaco is the ultimate villain after all. Look, these guys are such a pain to stand, I didn't want to go through the whole thing again because of their feet. So yeah, overall, Knight's Kingdom. What's the deal with Knight's Kingdom? I think it's really cool, really slept on buildable figure theme. They're definitely more action figure than buildable, but I think that's fine because they are still really cool action figures. And I like having a different buildable figure theme than the robotic, thing. Well, obviously I'm a huge Bionicle fan, no duh, but it's cool to have something very different than that, with a very different style that they really leaned into. They're like, these guys are knights. We need to differentiate them from Bionicle, so we're going to make them super, super knight-like. And I think that was a really smart choice. It's not like the Star Wars sets where they're kind of just Hero Factory sets with Star Wars heads. Oh gosh, that might ruffle a few feathers. These guys are really different, you know, and I really like what they did with it. I think it's a pretty slept on, underrated theme, actually. I think these guys are pretty sweet, and there's a ton of awesome parts you can use for Bionicle mocks or whatever mocks you want to do. There's a lot of really cool parts, from all the different swords to all the different armor shells and all the different shields. You can do a lot with these guys. They're really cool. I wish that buildable figures were still a thing so we could get themes that are not strictly robot looking, but themes that are more different, you know, like the Knights Kingdom. You know, a CCBS Knight theme would be really cool. Or something, you know, or a samurai theme or something like that. Something like that would be really, really fun. Or maybe like even like a sci-fi like space theme. I don't know. It'd be really cool if we could have gotten stuff like that. We didn't, and we probably won't, but I think that's what Knights Kingdom shows, is that because they really progressed, like they just got better as the years went on, and those third year sets are genuinely really good sets. At least I think they were, especially for their price range. These guys were like $8, I think, back in the day. Great figures for $8. And I think these show that that can be a success. You know, this got a full 3 years. It wasn't a G2, we only got 2 years. And it was really cool. There's a lot of really cool ideas, like the whole idea of, because they're humans, you can age them, like Jaco becomes like King, which is really cool stuff like that. And overall, I think Knights Kingdom was really cool. I know at first I didn't really care about it. I thought it was kind of dumb and nerdy. But now that I had to buy all of them for some projects and everything that I'm working on, they really shined in me. Like, I'm going to miss a lot of these guys because they're really cool, you know? I'm going to miss a lot of the features of them because they were really cool. Especially getting most of these for $30 for, like, mostly everything was a really good deal for me. I mean, including the canisters, like I said. And they were really cool, you know? I think that Knights Kingdom was something that is pretty underrated, and I think it was a pretty cool theme, and it had some really cool stuff behind it, and I think it shows that you can do a theme that is not about robots and have it be kind of cool and unique. So yeah, overall, I really like Knights Kingdom. Definitely got better as it went along. I mean, it's no Bionicle, not even close. Obviously not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's really fun. It's a really fun little side thing. You know, I think they really did some cool stuff with it. So yeah, that's my Knights Kingdom thing. I looked at a bunch of them. I think you kind of got a feel for most of the theme, but I certainly am missing a lot. This is not I'm not claiming this is a 100%, you know, this is more of a fun little thought experiment thing to look at these. And Tokoto has a few that I don't have, and I think you should review those, Tokoto. But anyway, that's the Knights Kingdom stuff. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.